So, with my dad explaining to him what was going on, he wanted to ask questions. And here's the problem. Like I was explaining to him what happened in Virginia. And he wants to ask me, well, you threatened her family, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, I threatened her family to take them to court 8 months after she was killed. Virginia was a whole year before she was killed, Dad. Why don't you shut up and listen? But I was nicer about it. The problem is, when I'm nice and try to be tactful, people blow me off like there's no fucking problem. And the problem just gets worse. And the more they blow me off, the more fucked I am, because I need somebody to actually care enough to do something instead of talk about it. And sending me money, I mean, that's nice. It is. I'm glad for all of the people who have helped me out financially, but they should have never had to. The police should have done their fucking jobs. Plain and fucking simple. Now, that's the problem with you guys asking questions, is that a lot of stuff has happened. Yes, I did threaten to kill people. It took a lot of years for me to finally build up what it took to actually threaten to kill somebody. And that was after Natalie was killed. I hadn't threatened to physically harm anyone before Natalie was killed. Anyone. I wasn't fucking interested in it. When I did finally threaten these people back, it's because they threatened me. They threatened my life. Their lies had other people threatening my life and threatening my family's life. Not pretending. I didn't have to pretend that people were threatening my life. I didn't have to grossly reinterpret it as a threat against my life or my friends' lives or my family's lives. These were actual fucking threats. People actually saying, I will kill you and your friends and your family. People actually harassing these people who are trying to help me, including officers harassing them. And you want to justify everything that happened to me before Natalie was killed based on the fact that I threatened to take her mom and sister to court? Based on the fact that I threatened to kill people who threatened to kill me? I did these things back. I didn't start this shit. I had a fucking enough of it. That's what all of this is about. I shouldn't have had to go through any of this shit. But I'm not a human for the reason that I explained it to you. I'm a homeless male who's not attractive. All right. So people can do whatever they want to me and they can get away with it. They can just call me mentally ill. People hate the homeless. They blame the homeless for all of the fucking child molesters and all of the fucking rapists and all of the thieves and all of every fucking criminal out there. You blame the homeless people like they committed all of those crimes. When somebody steals your tip jar, you hate all homeless people after that and won't have a tip jar out because you don't want homeless people to steal it. Well, now you're robbing yourself because that one day that a homeless person came in and stole your fucking tip jar was one fucking day. You made tips 364 days out of the year. So you cut yourself out of 364 days worth of tips because you want to punish all homeless people because one of them stole from you. So you robbed your fucking self? That's so fucking stupid. But that's America, folks. We don't want to see homeless people. We don't want to hear folks blaming all of the cops. Meanwhile, when a cop does something wrong, all of his buddies on the department are covering for his ass. But we're not allowed to blame all cops. You can punish all homeless people because of your paranoia. Your unjustified paranoia. Meanwhile, we have to take abuse over that paranoia by the police. Because your bias says we're not human to your society. Your capitalist society does not recognize our rights, our constitutional rights, because we don't have the money to buy them. We don't have the money to hire a real lawyer. We don't have the money to hire a real judge. We don't have the money to buy a police officer's statement. And yes, these things do cost money. Not sure if you guys have ever gone through this. That's part of the reason that it's tough to get a lawyer. When you get a lawyer and you're broke like I am, all of the expenses comes out of their pocket as the lawyer. All of the money it takes to collect all of that evidence comes out of their pocket. They want to for sure win. But with my case, it's too complicated because it's across multiple jurisdictions and multiple counties with hundreds of officers involved and judges and lawyers, which we already knew. We already knew these people were corrupt before they did what they did to me. They assumed my guilt. And because only one side was allowed to be shown, and because I have been kept in a constant state of panic and movement, I don't have the resources to exist. I mean, I've had a lot of great ideas for what I could have done if I'd have had the money at the time. But then life fucking happens. Light bulbs burn out. Tires blow. The library's not open. Or they no longer have internet access there. Or you go there and you've got people trying to beat each other up over you. Threatening to kill you. Threatening to throw you in the creek. Before I went to my dad's, I had stated that all of the people that I got rid of, got them out of my life because they were no good for me while I was in Virginia. All of them had returned to my life to do the same fucked up shit that they did before I fucking left Virginia. They did all that same fucked up shit after Natalie died, with the exception of my dad. And then I got to my dad's, and sure enough, he did the same thing. There's a reason that I hung out with the people that I did and avoided the people that I did. There's a reason I got rid of Candace while I was in Virginia. There's a reason that I got rid of Miss Jerry and Tyler and Lana and Amanda. There's a reason I got rid of my dad. It's because their bad assumptions meant that they did bad things to me that had a great effect on my life. And they had no remorse about it. None of them showed any remorse about it. Not even one. For me to have to try to trust those people after Natalie died, I knew not to. But the police wouldn't do their jobs. I had to find someplace safe, and with nobody in Colorado willing to take me in that I knew, I needed to find somewhere close, somewhere with familiar people, and I was hoping that Lana and Amanda had toned it down a bit. I was hoping that I'd get to spend more time with Miss Jerry. I didn't get what I hoped. What I got was abuse. Although Amanda tried to help, we did what Lana delegated, and much like my dad, Lana had her own opinions, but didn't bother to look at any of the facts. She didn't sit down and look at any of the evidence with me, neither did Amanda. For me, not having a place to go or a place to receive mail after that fucked me. The things that I needed when Natalie died, I needed a safe place with internet and a mailbox where I could receive mail. I could have taken my disability to order the evidence that I needed. But the Boulder police assault on January 6th last year, that halted all of that. Every penny that I've had since before Natalie died has already been spent on the courts. It was already spent. Every penny that I got from disability was already spent, and then some. And it all started with Ken and Leah stealing all of my money. I had to depend on others. Miss Peaches on the 16th, when I was served the protection order, it was supposed to be Natalie meeting me, but she didn't meet me. She was going to end all the crazy. I was so excited, but it didn't get to happen. And Miss Peaches gave me enough bus fare to get back down to Ken and Leah's. And then from there, Kinga Nichols gave me $100 to go see my therapist, Nicole Peralta, in Nebraska. I was at Miss Peach's house when Kinga sent this to me. And it was the next day that I found out that Natalie was missing and tried to offer her all that money to get her somewhere safe. Y'all forget that part, don't you? You always want to forget that part. I asked people to leave the Bollingers alone. I asked people to leave Natalie's family alone. I made a whole video about it. Did they ever once do the same thing for me? No. They egged people on in these groups. Egged people on to get them to come after me, to assault me, to threaten my life. And they are fully responsible for this. And the Bollingers will go down for this if I have anything to say about it. But I couldn't get somebody to go in with me, and I knew how the police would treat me. I've seen them do it to hundreds of people before. No money means no rights. And I was given the no money treatment. This is where institutions get free money from the government, which isn't the government's money, it's the taxpayers' money. And these institutions want this money. And you are the key to getting that money. So no, you don't have rights. You don't matter, and you never did.